Greetings and salutations, physical media enjoyers. I'm Max Scoville, and I'm here to tell you all about the latest ultra-high definition additions you can make to your film library this month. Here are February 2026's biggest 4K and Blu-ray releases.
It's just plastic. It's really just...
Before we get started, just a brief disclaimer. This is not every single 4K Blu-ray and or DVD release coming this month, but it's a whole bunch of them. And also, please bear in mind that things occasionally get delayed or shuffled around, and human beings have been known to make mistakes on occasion, so please bear with us. And also, this is our first time doing a video like this about 4K Blu-ray releases, so we're trying something new. Be patient and let us know what we can do better. Now, let's get into it. Despite the fact there is a literal Friday the 13th occurring just 10 days later, somebody decided that Tuesday the 3rd is the ideal time to drop not one, but two 4K installments in the storied slasher series named after that unlucky date. Arrow Video has a nice fancy collectible version of the 2009 remake, which may be divisive among fans, but it's still a fun enough time. In addition to the theatrical and extended killer versions of the film, this also includes a slew of bonus content, including a video essay by regular IGN contributor Matt Donato about what the remake gets right, in case you're still on the fence after you already bought it on Blu-ray. Personally, I enjoy the part where that one young man drinks beer from his own shoe.
You lost 10 in a row, shoot the boot.
Friday the 13th Part 2 is not a sequel to that film, but rather the follow-up to the original, and that very first sequel celebrates its 45th anniversary this year, but it's not getting any special treatment, and this 4K Blu-ray seems fairly bare bones. Wicked for Good got its regular physical release last month, but on the 3rd you can grab a special gift set which includes the film in multiple formats, as well as an Emerald City keepsake box that features the most suggestively shaped minarets I've seen since The Little Mermaid's original clamshell VHS cover. If you're old and or sophisticated enough to think that last joke was a tad puerile, you're also probably old and sophisticated enough to get excited that you can add a new 4K UHD and Blu-ray version of the original 1957 310 to Yuma to your personal Criterion closet. This features a new digital restoration and all the usual supplemental content, including interviews with the legendary Elmore Leonard, whose short story was the basis for the film long before his work was adapted into other modern classics like Get Shorty, Jackie Brown, and Justified.
Get the sheriff. Tell him to get as many deputies as he can.
A week later on the 10th, you can grab the re-release of Lawrence of Arabia, which includes a restored version of the director's cut of the 1962 seven-time Academy Award-winning epic. And in case not enough accolades have been bestowed upon this fine film, it's also my dad's favorite movie, and I'm fairly certain he hates movies, so I think that's high praise?
Because I am a river to my people.
The steamy 1999 classic Cruel Intentions celebrates its almost 27th anniversary with a special 25th anniversary edition. Is there anything crueler than reminding somebody that you forgot their special day? Yes, there absolutely is, and if you're intent on seeing 7 much more horrific acts of cruelty, there is also the 4K UHD release of David Fincher's seminal classic, Seven. What's in the box, you ask? Well, 4 commentary tracks, some extended scenes, and some alternate endings, but nothing new that wasn't in the previous Blu-ray release. Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "Seven is a fine film, and one well worth rewatching." I agree with, well, both parts actually.
Have you ever seen anything like this? No.
On February 17th, there's quite a large pile of new stuff dropping, so pardon the rapid fire. On the actual new release front, now you can grab hard copies of a few movies that feel like they were just in theaters. There's Predator Badlands, which absolutely kicks ass, and if you somehow slept on this one because a PG-13 rating seemed like it would impede the Predator from making a real mess of things, rest assured that is probably only the case because the stuff he's ripping to shreds isn't technically human, which somehow makes the violence more family-friendly in the eyes of the MPAA ratings board. If you like scary spins on the greatest story ever told, there's The Carpenter's Son, which, depending on your personal beliefs and your stance on biblical apocrypha, might be based on a true story.
My faith has been shattered!
Then of course there's a scary spin on a family fun center in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, based on the hit video game series that has lore and canon almost as dense as that of the New Testament. If all that sounds like too much work and you'd rather just watch snarky magicians steal stuff, you can make Now You See Me, Now You Don't suddenly appear on your shelf in optical media of every fidelity, including a fancy steelbook.
Diamonds are forever.
If you want some serious grown-up movies for grown-ups, you can snag the classic Swords and Sandals epic Ben-Hur, as well as a few award-winning biopics, A Beautiful Mind, Ray, and All the President's Men, the latter of which is getting a nice steelbook version, which hopefully nobody stole from the 1972 Democratic National Committee.
How much can you tell me about Deep Throat?
How much do you need to know?
If Academy Award-winning movies about real stuff that actually happened makes you sleepy and you'd rather watch movies where dolls come to life and kill people, well, good news. You've got your pick of Joe Dante's roided-out answer to Toy Story, Small Soldiers, as well as Chucky's sophomore outing, Child's Play 2, which is getting an Amazon-exclusive steelbook release. If that doesn't sate your unquenchable bloodlust, or you just like scary movies, the original Scream is getting a 2-disc steelbook 4K release, which isn't exclusive to any particular retailer, and Trick or Treat gets a re-release from Arrow that includes the usual goodie bag of bonus tricks and supplemental treats. Regina George is more of a monster than Chucky and Ghostface put together, and you can witness her wrath in the highest resolution yet by grabbing a copy of Mean Girls. If you prefer wrathful men, well, there's presumably plenty of that in Guy Ritchie's Wrath of Man, which reunites Jason Statham with the director who gave him his big break. If you prefer the wrath of two men, well, I double Van Damme dog dare you to grab Double Impact, which features 200% the recommended amount of JCVD. And finally, you can pick up a steelbook of the wonderfully unsettling Nightcrawler. Just make sure you lock it up before bed so some insomniac weirdo doesn't swipe it and pawn it off at a scrap metal yard. Fun fact, Jake Gyllenhaal barely blinks in Nightcrawler because he was tired from all the excessive blinking he did for his role in Prisoners a year earlier.
Alright, it's done now.
I'm kidding, that's not true. Gyllenhaal deliberately avoided blinking on screen to make his character, Lou Bloom, seem as disturbing as possible. Speaking of Lou's being disturbed, you can see the business dealings of Blue Lou Boyle get disturbed by the harebrained schemes of one Clarence Worley in True Romance. If you're unfamiliar, this is the screenplay that Quentin Tarantino sold to bankroll Reservoir Dogs, directed by the legendary Tony Scott at the height of his powers, and it has one of the most stacked casts this side of Heat. True Romance features appearances from Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Samuel L. Jackson, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, Chris Penn, James Gandolfini, and even Jack Black, whose scene was deleted, but it's included in the special edition. The fine folks at Arrow have repackaged their 2022 4K restorations of both theatrical and director's cuts of the bonus features, including everything from A Diddly-Eyed Joe to Damned If I Know. I might have to pick this one up. This is one of my favorite movies ever. Also that day is Mimic, Guillermo del Toro's sophomore directorial outing and his first English language one. Among all the other weird stuff you'll encounter in Mimic's gloomy sewers is the feature film debut of a very young Norman Reedus.
They flush him down, we fish him out.
Who would work again with Del Toro in Blade 2, and then later deliver heavy packages and receive even heavier exposition dumps in Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding games. Arrow Video has a brand new 4K restoration of the 1973 Westworld with the usual bevy of special features and supplemental content, including the 48-minute pilot episode to the TV show, not the HBO one, the ill-fated Beyond Westworld, which was canceled after a handful of episodes. The Man Who Wasn't There gets a fresh 4K Criterion release. This is a pretty underrated entry in the Coen brothers filmography, a neo-noir starring Billy Bob Thornton and a teenage Scarlett Johansson with the usual amounts of nuanced small-town weirdness and black comedy typical of the folks behind Fargo. Another 4K Criterion release is Network, which features a new digital restoration of Sidney Lumet's 1976 satire of America's corporate media landscape, which is somehow more relevant now than ever. So if you're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore, this is well worth throwing on. If you want to settle down or, I guess, get even more mad.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!"
So there you have it. That is a look at the biggest movies, new and old, getting brand new, shiny, ultra-high-def 4K physical releases this month. Bear in mind, we are a US-based outlet, so your results may vary in other territories. If you're looking for links to where you can buy all of these and plenty more, IGN has a running doc collecting all the major releases each month, which is regularly updated. Here is a handy QR code that will take you right to it. If you're looking for when this stuff goes on sale, make sure you're following IGN Deals on your social media platform of choice. They are constantly posting when stuff is up for pre-order, on deep discount, or when a hot item gets restocked. If you enjoy video games, go check out our video breaking down February's biggest game releases. It's like this video you just watched, except it's about video games instead of old movies. Finally, as I mentioned, this is our first time making a video like this. What can we improve on next month? We would love any constructive feedback in the comments below, and of course, anything we might have missed, or just personal recommendations of movies that people should check out. On that note, thank you all for watching. Hopefully we'll be back next month with a look at March's biggest 4K Blu-ray releases. I'll see you then, if I see you then.